Let's do
What
it.
is up, guys? Welcome to the Tony and Dakota podcast. Today, we have a very special virtual guest. Tony's going to introduce him.
This is Maxx Colton Tuning.
There he is.
He is he's got like 350,000 plus YouTube subscribers. He owns a candy company, most known for sour strips. I actually figured out the legal name of the LLC, but we won't announce that here. And then also an apparel company. Our videographer, Cody, has known Maxx for a while. He's been following him, got us this opportunity to interview him. I'm super excited to pick Maxx's brain, figure out everything that he knows, because he's crushing it at YouTube, crushing it at business, entrepreneurship. And we're really excited to have you on, Maxx. Thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm ready to give the people some knowledge, some entertainment, some dumb responses to simple questions. It's gonna be a good time.
Did you borrow that from Ty Lopez? Knowledge.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't heard. I forget about that guy.
I think everybody.
Don't worry, everybody else did too. Are you affiliated with Tiger Fitness at all? I saw an advertisement pop up and it had your name on it when I went on YouTube. It looked like maybe you're doing an affiliate or like a 10-day challenge or something with them.
Recently, you saw that?
They must have just used your name in the advertisement. I don't know.
I have not worked with Tiger Fitness in 7 years. So
they have been using your name to still push their ads.
you know what, dude? Some people be like, oh, I got to go after them. Me, I'm like, you know what? I had a good experience. Let them, whatever. If it helps their business, man, it's not interfering with what I'm doing. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, so how did you what was your first big break? Because from what I could see, it looked like you came from Virginia area. Looked like you kind of grew up like middle class, nice neighborhood, that sort of thing, growing up as a kid. And then it looked like maybe you moved to Texas. And so how did you go from just being a kid from somewhere to becoming a serial entrepreneur and getting into different things?
How did I become the cool guy that I am now? Well, let's go back a little bit, So, yeah, I mean, Virginia born and raised. That's where like most of my family is. I have a pretty small family. You could fit everyone that's related to me like at a single dinner table. And for the most part, they're still in Virginia. And, I went to college at Virginia Commonwealth University, graduated business administration management. And it really was, and that was 2013. And right in 2013 was when I decided to go down the path of social media, started making YouTube videos because I met another buddy of mine who was already kind of in the space. And, flash forward, I was just kind of doing whatever I thought I could do to grow my social media. I was working a full-time job at the exact same time. So for the first 3 years of my YouTube channel, I also was working a corporate desk job. And, I ended up moving a little more north, right outside of DC, in 2000 and I guess like late 2017, early 2018, and then moved up there with my brother. So I worked in a remote office from my job and where I was from. I worked in Washington DC, and it wasn't until about and then in 2016. Shoot, my numbers are way off then on the dates. 2016 was the year that I quit my job. So it was like 2015 that I moved to up there. But yeah, like I said, I was balancing both the social media and the full-time job. And it kind of got to the point after tracking my finances for a certain period of time, about a year of making sure that the income was sustainable, that it was kind of a calculated risk. I had a little safety net in the bank. I made the leap in July, almost 7 years ago, to this day. And, it's been a wild ride since then. And I moved to Texas towards the end of 2018. And that was really to see some opportunities for a lot of the entrepreneurs that were here in the area. And it's been the best move. I've met a lot of great people, met my current girlfriend, and I think I'm here to stay.
Dang, love it. That's a lot. So there's a lot of people, honestly, they're getting into entrepreneurship. Obviously, it's a big thing right now. So You honestly went into it in a very similar way that I did. I was in car sales, was doing car sales, and then we got into, flipping houses. And then basically like the flipping the houses kind of pulled me out of it based on the income that it was producing.
Yeah.
What would you suggest that other people do? Like if they're thinking about quitting their job or whatever and going into, you think that they should have that side hustle until it's sustainable? Or you think that it's better? Like if you think about where you were at now, it would have been better if you just like, you know what, screw this corporate job. I'm going to jump all in, and you would have done it either way.
It's hard to know the exact mindset that I was in, but I think I'm like a calculated risk type of person. And for me, it's like, could I have quit my corporate job a little sooner? Yes. But at the time, it was like, I wasn't making much money in my corporate job, maybe like $40,000, like maybe even a little bit less than that. And while I was making enough money to quit the job, it was more like I didn't have really anything else to do in my day to fill that time frame, right? I was like, at the moment, I can do everything. Why would I quit my job, even though it's maybe not my interest? I'm making a little bit. I'm making some money there. I can balance the social media. If I quit my job, like, am I going to watch Netflix in the middle of the day? Like, no, I don't want to do that. And it wasn't until I basically had realized that there was opportunities that I was missing. Like the times were kind of different back then. So it wasn't now people be like, well, if I had all that extra time, I would, take some courses and classes and learn how to maximize my profits. And I'd, start drop shipping on Amazon. Like no one was doing that shit when I was, it was just like, I had one side hustle thing, which wasn't called a side hustle then. And it was like making me some money. But it wasn't until I was like, hey, I only have, I don't know how many days of like time off that I have, but I'm like, I'm going to use these on these expos. And then there's this other trip that I want to go to, but I'm not gonna be able to take time off. And, it started impeding on my ability to do things that were going to grow what I really wanted to do. So not only was I financially stable enough that I tracked for a year, I then was missing out on opportunities. So at that point, it made sense to quit. I think I think nowadays a lot of people I think being an entrepreneur is, an exciting thing, that the big risk, big reward. But I think a lot of people think that you have to be an entrepreneur as soon as possible and own your own business, or else you're, going to be looked at as like behind everyone else. Because if you work for anyone else, you're not as great as someone who, is working for themselves. And I don't really agree with that. But as far as like when the right time is, you'll know. And it's only when you're going to get a lot of influence from other people of what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But I think if you can track your finances and you're missing out on opportunities, that how you can fill the time of the thing you're doing, what you'll fill your time with, then the writing's on the wall and you can always go back to a job.
So I've seen folks who have become YouTubers be like, oh man, I was just in the right place at the right time. It was luck. And then I've seen people like Mr. Beast who are like, there's absolutely a science and strategy behind of winning in YouTube. And it's actually really easy if you just understood it. So he's always like, A/B testing things and like focusing on the specific content and like the way that they script their videos. They spend like millions of dollars on videos because they know that it's going to work. Do you think that you're like a science and strategy kind of guy where you
Hell no.
understand how YouTube works? Absolutely. Or was it like right place, right time, and you were just extremely lucky?
Yeah, bro. It's like, I used the like back in my day, back when anything, but like social media it wasn't like it is now. It just wasn't. I got in early in the fitness game when there was a need for a skinny dude who could lift a lot of weight, and that where I filled that void and there wasn't a lot. So absolutely was right time, right place. Really cool guy as the topping on top of it. But I understand the aspect of getting into social media now and trying to be really analytical about it and, trying to maximize it. But I think if you're doing that, you're looking at it as strictly a business. And for me, I look at YouTube as an outlet for entertainment and like therapy for me and just like relaxation and stuff and an enjoyment. And if I started really trying to analyze for the best maximum growth, I feel like that just takes away like the fun for it for me. And but I will absolutely, I don't downplay the hard work and the amount of effort. I think I'm one of the most consistent YouTubers in my space that's been doing it for the longest time without really taking a break and, only increasing on the quality. But I just, I do it because I really, really enjoy it. And I will attribute a lot of my success where I'm at now to being in the right place. If I'd never met the people that I met because I'd never went to an expo and didn't become friends with them, would I be where I'm at now? Would I be in Texas? I have no idea. I think life kind of like plays out how it's supposed to. You seize opportunities when they're there, but I never like went looking for the most optimal way to grow my channel, like ever. I never did that.
Pulling data lists like vacant houses, mortgage foreclosures, and tax delinquent properties is important to direct-to-seller marketing.
Batch Leads is the main platform where we store our sellers' data and skip trace owners for their phone numbers, emails, and addresses.
On other platforms, you end up having to pay twice for the same contact if you've already skip traced it. My favorite thing about Batch Leads is that if you've skip traced a contact once, you never have to pay for that contact again.
Batch Leads has SMS texting campaigns, direct mail marketing, and Driving for Dollars app integrated in a simple-to-use interface.
Click the link below and try Batch Leads today.
It's interesting. This kind of ties back into the other question I wanted to ask you about quitting your job. It's kind of funny that like whenever you were quitting your job, it sounded like that was more of a calculated decision, which is kind of how I went about it. It's more calculated. All right, hey, obviously the income's going down over here, the income's going up over here. Obviously it makes sense. But then whenever you talk about your YouTube, it sounds like it was more like, that was a little bit more emotional where it's like, hey, as long as I'm consistent, I'm just going to continue to do this. I'm not going to, necessarily strategize the most. What I want to know that a lot of people always are, I think, going through is what emotions did you go through in order to quit your job? Like, were you scared? Did you have fear? Did you still feel that even though all the numbers made sense? And how did you actually get yourself to like, all right, I'm going to make the decision to leave?
I mean, bro, I still get stressed out and worried about, big commitments. I'm going through, like, at the end of the day, I have to make a decision if I'm getting this new warehouse, later today. And you would look at it on a spreadsheet and be like, Max, you're freaking crushing it with sour strips. This is a blimp on the radar in terms of your cost. Why are you concerned about the cost associated with this warehouse? Just do whatever you need to grow. But I'm still like, damn, but it's a commitment. I have commitment issues, not anymore with my girlfriend, but I used to. There was a lot of emotions that going through. I mean, I can remember leading up to the day that I actually, so like I said, I worked in a remote office that so my boss was back like 3 hours south where I went to college. And I remember the days and the weeks leading up to like the decision to quit. I remember just staring at my phone because I would have to call my boss, right? And every day I was like, all right, today's the day, Max. Like, pick up the phone, call him, pick up the phone. Like, you have a meeting today, like with them, just bring it up during the meeting. And I couldn't. I was just so nervous. And again, it's like, am I making the right decision? Am I, I had people like, my buddy Christian Guzman, who was saying like a year ago before that, like, quit. But I'm like, no, I'm not like you, bro. Like, no, and for me, it was, I thought the relatability of me working a corporate job, I thought that would negatively impact my YouTube channel if I quit, because then I'm like, I'm no longer relatable. I'm no longer the guy that's doing the same job like you guys are, that's also doing this stuff on the side. Luckily, there were some opportunities that came up with some friends that I ended up opening a gym called District Barbell, which was it was like serendipitous that like I met these guys and we wanted to open this gym and we timed it out. So like as soon as I quit, we were able to like sign the lease on this building. So my time was immediately filled with building this gym. So I never really had time to think about, it wasn't like I quit my job and the next day I was just sitting in my house and, at 10 a.m. It was like, oh, let's go to the warehouse and start installing stall mats, So I stayed busy, and I think that's what I was able to take my mind off of it. And there was definitely like a lot of dread of, is this the right decision? But I think you don't know till you know. And for me, when I called my boss to tell him that I was quitting, I didn't know what to expect, right? I don't know how he's going to take it. And he was really, really supportive of it, was like, yeah, I completely understand. I thought you would have done this like earlier. If I was in your shoes, I was young, like I would do the exact same thing. Like, wish you the best of luck. If it doesn't work out, there's always a job waiting for you back here. And so that was a sigh of relief as well. But yeah, I'm someone who still gets nervous on making any sort of big decision for sure. I get stressed when I have to decide what to get at the grocery store, man.
So we've built our company over like the last 5 years, and we've seen it scale exponentially. So we always go through some growing pains around this time of year because everybody's ready to sell their house in the spring and in the summer. We have
Yeah.
so much inventory right now. We're up to the point where we have about 8 employees. We netted about $2 million last year. Our, expenses, overhead, things like that keep going up as we keep scaling the company. We like to kind of know other people's numbers. What do your companies look like? Like, how many employees do you have? Do you have virtual assistants that are helping you with editing, with YouTube and that sort of thing? Like, your main company structures, how much business are you doing? How many employees do you have? What does it look like now compared to what it used to look like?
I mean, it used to look like kind of abysmal. I mean, my main focuses at the moment, my clothing company Everforward is really 100% run by me. I have some people who help design with it in Canada, but at the moment with the growth of sour strips, it's kind of had to take a little back seat for now. But we have some exciting things coming. But the main focuses are my social media, YouTube, and sour strips. And with YouTube, it's 100% me. It's I had a videographer, but even when he was working for me, he would just help with random one-off videos, or like if I needed to travel somewhere and I wanted to, I needed to interact and do something, I wanted someone to help me film, because I couldn't film. But I'd say out of the 1,400 YouTube videos I've uploaded, I have filmed and edited 95% of them. So yeah, to this day, I do all that. I edit and film my own videos. Any brand deals I'm doing, I'm the one that they're emailing. I'm the one that they're negotiating with. I'm the one lining up those deals. I'm the one handling the deliverables. So I do everything social media related to me. I do all of it. I don't have anyone. I don't have an assistant. I don't have any virtual people that help me with schedules. I don't have a schedule. I don't block out my time throughout my day. I don't have like each day I wake up, I'm like, all right, what the fuck am I supposed to do today? Like, and then I get sidetracked and I'll start one thing and then end up doing nothing related to the thing I thought I was going to do. And so I'm all over the place. There's that. And then so sour strips, which is the actual, the business that brings in the most revenue, that has the most, overhead. We have about 5. Yeah, at the moment we have like about 5 full-time salaried employees, and then we'll have anywhere from, I don't know, like 7 to 12 full-time hourly warehouse workers. But a lot of them will probably over the next 6 months or so probably elevate to full-time salary roles as well, just because with sour strips, all of the we're kind of figuring out how to grow the business, what roles are needed. So people are evolving into roles. Everyone that works for me has started by packing orders for me. So no one has come from previous experiences. No one has come from previous CPG businesses. So every day we're figuring out the best optimization. And yeah, I mean, I outsource a couple things. So I'll source like our Facebook ads. I don't do those. So that's like a third-party agency. I'm starting to outsource some of our content creation for like the feed photos. We'll just get a bunch of photographers like in different areas just to pay them a couple $100 a photo and have them shoot it, because it's just like then we can stockpile footage. So yeah, we run a really lean team, and I still do a lot of hands-on things. I can't decide if I'm a YouTuber who moonlights running a candy company or a candy company owner who moonlights being a YouTuber. I don't know.
That's awesome. Are you excited for some of the artificial intelligence type video editing software? I just saw some of it like in 20 seconds or so, like just cut all of the clips.
Yeah, I used one this morning. Yeah, so I also run a podcast, and I film. I produce the entire show as well. So I'm editing the podcast. I do all that. And yeah, the AI autopod tools actually really helpful. And I think the future of AI and that is, some people are against it. And actually, I film a podcast with my buddy Joe and David, and we go pretty in depth where they think like technology needs to almost be capped because it's going to start limiting people's jobs. And I'm more on the not that I want the robots to take our jobs, but I'm more of, I think this is what the future looks like, and you need to either adapt or you're going to die. Like you're either going to, oh, your skill set's this one thing, and you're going to cry that a computer's taking your job. It's like, welcome to life. Figure out something else to do. Like that's what I would do. Like I'm not going to sit here and whine about it. So I definitely think that there is a lot of jobs, but it also shows that you need to have your hand in different pots. You need to have different skill sets. You can't rely on one thing for the rest of your life. And it's, again, if you hate the whole technology and advancing, go live in the woods. That's my new comeback, is like, if you hate it here, you hate what's going on, get out, go live somewhere else. Then I don't know.
Gary Vee had a really good point about that. He was just like, I think AI is actually going to make us able to have better connections with each other, like be more human, because it's going to automate all of the processes that otherwise we would spend multiple hours on. Like imagine that you didn't have to edit your videos anymore. How much more likely are you to connect with other humans because of that? Like you're gonna save 20 hours a week, right? Don't you spend like 10, 20 hours editing your stuff?
Hell no, dude. I'm a wizard at editing. I can edit so fast. And I see, I like editing. I don't know if I'd use a program if you could just drop all my footage, and there's no way a computer could put the correct timing of my dumbass jokes on there. But no, it's for me, it's like certain things I like I like, automating a lot of mundane tasks that are just like busy work stuff. But I think the creativity and stuff's always going to be there. And I think there's always gonna be needing human elements, and it's just going to only evolve and make everything better. So the thing that you had to do is no longer something you have to do. AI is going to take over for you. Now you need to move your creative level up to the next tier of things. And when something else can do that, you elevate yourself up to the next tier of creativeness. So I think it's a good thing. I'm looking forward to it. And as a business owner, it's going to be great if I can keep my overhead down, and, I no longer need, certain employees for that, but I'll always need certain employees for other things. So it's like, how can you adapt your skills, and, if you spent your whole life being like, I'm going to be a podcast editor, and now Autopod has eliminated that, whine about it or learn a new skill set. It's like, what do you want to do? Like you only have two options,
Have you been thinking about investing in real estate?
It's not like what you see on HGTV.
We created a course to show you how to really invest and create a profitable flipping and wholesaling business.
We show you where to find the money, how to find the deals, and how to negotiate the deals.
We go over live sales calls, including negotiations, scripts, role-playing, and so much more.
Everything that you need to know to flip houses is in this course. And if there's a video that we didn't make that you want, we'll make it for you.
This knowledge has made us well over $1 million, and it's available right now for $9.97. Click the link below.
Buy the course.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember listening to Elon Musk talk about basically the exact opposite, where everything's going to be deflationary, where robots are basically going to take over almost everything. Everything's going to go down in price because it's going to be so automated. And then humans, instead of like having more connection, they're actually going to have a less self-worth because they can't figure out what the heck their value is if their job is there. Like, a lot of our jobs are obviously physical labor. Robots are going to take that over. But I like your way of thinking. It's very interesting. I feel like we think a lot alike. Where it's more like, dude, just figure it out. Like if that's all taken care of, all right, what can I do that's still productive? What can I do that is still going to provide value? That's something that robots can't do. And then, yeah, just figure it out. Otherwise, if not, then I guess go live your life and have a good time and figure out the meaning of life.
1,000%, man. It's the same kind of like, if people play the victim mentality. My comeback to anything is always like, do you think you're the first person and only person that's going through this? Probably not. So it's like, what do you think they've just given up? And it's the same kind of thing. Unless everyone in the world's jobs got taken away tomorrow and it happens to everyone, it's happening to someone else. And are they just sitting around pouting and whining about it, or are they doing something about it? And they're going to go take the job that you should be working on your skill set to go get. It's like, it's the way of thinking, man. And it's like, you can be pissed at you'd be pissed at the world evolving, but it's going to continue to evolve whether you're upset or not.
Yep. I love it. I want to talk about, you talk about the candy, your candy factory, or the strips. Then you got your fitness business that you said you actually own a gym and stuff. Do you feel like any sort of like conflict at all internally about that? Like, man, I'm making candy. One, do you eat candy? And then two, do you feel any conflict about like, all right, I'm really into fitness, but then candy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have been a candy fanatic, obsessive person my entire life. Like ever since I was I was like 10. And I mean, if you were to go back across the 10 years of my YouTube videos and click on 10 videos per year, I would say there's a good chance that at least one of those videos I'm eating sour candy in those videos, talking about it. Candy couldn't have been more in line with who I am. When I used to, before COVID, and there was like, expos I'd go to multiple times a year, and I'd have hundreds of people lined up for hours to chat with me, take a photo. I mean, you can go back and look at these expo recap videos, and in the videos, look behind me on the floor. Like, everyone do this after the podcast. Didn't think I'm lying. Look behind me, and when you see the montage of people talking to me, what do you see against the backdrop on the floor is a pile of sour candy, because people would bring me sour candy to this thing. It just like I'm the candy guy. Like just like as much as people probably associate frozen margaritas with me now, it's the same kind of thing with candy. And so it fit really well with who I am. And then the fitness thing, it's like, I love it. I think it's the most unique space that a candy company has ever launched. And I think it also is surprisingly the best industry that I could have ever launched it, because I think if you can show that people who are health conscious, into fitness, whatever, are enjoying it, can enjoy it, can show that you can eat something like that and it not ruin your diet, ruin your goals, that you can still balance it with your life, then maybe it shows the average person that, hey, I don't need to be afraid to, eat anything besides chicken and broccoli, or else I'm gonna, be fat. Yeah, there's health aspects, and it's all about balance and, quantities you're eating. But, with the fitness world, people love, I mean, if you take like one serving of sour strips, which is only like 23 carb, you take 4 strips, you eat it before your workout, you're going to have a sick pump. Like it's going to rush to your muscles. It's going to, spike your insulin, mid workout, having like, mid workout carb. Not only is it just an excuse to eat candy, but it's going to give you that really quick burst of energy. And it's something that's been adopted, and it's actually crazy to think that how many gyms are carrying sour strips. I mean, shit, in what world do you think someone started a candy company that has no fitness components to the candy? Like, we got picked up by the corporate chain of Gold's Gyms. Like, could you imagine 10 years ago, you think Gold's Gym is ever going to sell just regular candy in here? No. And we are, and we sell in so many gyms, we sell in so many nutrition stores, and it wasn't like this strategy of like, okay, we're going to launch, I'm going to make sure I hit on the key metrics of, sugar spiking and insulin and fitness. It was just like, I'm into fitness, I'm into candy, here's my new business. Holy shit, it worked. That's how it unfolded.
That's awesome. I was just talking to Jimmy about that yesterday. He was a friend of ours. He's a doctor of occupational therapy, but I was playing ultimate frisbee. I got real shaky, and I was like, dude, I should have ate. And Tony told me about gummy bears and how gummy bears does exactly what you're talking about. And I was like, dude, I didn't believe him back then. Honestly, it was back when we were in high school. And then now I'm like, all right, I guess it is true.
Yeah, I think it was just dextrose specifically, like a quad.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get super scientific. It's just sugar. I mean, you could do it with anything. That's why, athletes will, not only for the, the hydration aspects of it, but people drink Gatorade. Notice they don't drink the 0-calorie Gatorade. With 0-calorie Gatorade, you're getting the same electrolyte boost, but you want the carbohydrates, you want the sugar, you want that, right? It doesn't have to be candy. It could be just a sugar spike. And but it is a great way. Like, if you eat a couple sour strips before you, like 10 minutes before you work out, right when you start working out, your veins will be popping. You're going to feel a little full because that sugar is just being digested, and your insulin spiking, and it's going through your body. And it's like, it's quick energy, and it just works. That absolutely is never. Maybe like we've made like 1 or 2 TikToks in the past like year about it, but it has never been a selling point for sour strips. It has never been like an angle we've leaned into. It just happens that because me and my network is so heavily in the fitness network that all the fitness people just eat it. But that was never like some super secret, super big brain strategy.
You got me convinced.
And it's delicious, man.
So I was thinking about sour candy and going back to like my days when I was like 9, 10 years old. I used to race go-karts. I remember trying a Warhead for the first time. And I thought maybe it was poisoned as a kid because my mom was always like, be careful with wrappers. You never know what like some adult may have done to your candy kind of thing. So I tried a Warhead and I was like, holy crap, this is intense. And I feel like those had a nostalgia for like the next 5 years or so. They would even leave like they kind of destroy part of your tongue if you like
I
consistently.
actually ate like 2 bags of, I kind of went overboard last night, ate like 2 bags of sour strips, and I have like a blister on the tip of my tongue from the acid just fucking up my mouth, bro.
What was your introduction to sour candy? What was your first, like, if you go back nostalgia wise, what was the very first one where you're like, wow, this is it?
I think, I don't know if it was like this. I think I love the sour aspects of a lot of tart candy, but it wasn't that like I was addicted to sour super early on. I remember eating a ton of when I go to my brother's baseball games, or my dad owned a coffee shop, and next door to it is a 7-Eleven. And I remember always going into there and getting like Fun Dip, and I'd get like just your traditional sweet tarts like in the little tube. And you know, it's not like, it's not sour candy, but it's very tart, right? It has sour aspects to it. So I just started loving that, like that bite and that sourness. And then, you know, it was the sour gummy worms. It was all these other things. And I've just always been a sour candy guy. You know, I could find a photo of when I went to college. My mom got me, you know, this like, hey, you're moving downtown, here's like a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like ramen noodles and like waters and like all this stuff. But in the giant pack was a Sam's Club size case of like sour punch straws, sour blue raspberry straws. Like I have the photo on my Facebook. It's like I loved candy. I loved sour candy. And like it's just been like, even to this day, as a 33-year-old, if I see a mound of candy, like I want to eat all of it. I can't control myself. I love, it's not like I eat anything any less of it than I used to. I eat just as much candy now. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
So something that's kind of popular now that I've just recently seen these shorts pop up on YouTube and that sort of thing is folks talking about how we have a lot more phytoestrogens in our food from things like you know, soy. A lot of our products come from soy. Even in our water supply and stuff, there's like remnants of like some of the birth control now that birth control is a lot more mainstream. And so it's like a lot of men, because of a lot of different factors, environmental and otherwise, have significantly less testosterone. Do you do anything consistently? Like I started taking Genius Test, and then 10X Health recommended peptides. So peptides have been something that I started supplementing with regularly. Is there anything that you take consistently to regulate or boost your testosterone?
TRT. No, I'm kidding. No, if anything, I'm glad some birth control is in some of the foods that I eat, so now I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. And I'm pretty lax with my diet and everything. I mean, some key components that I always take are, you know, I'm a big advocate of taking greens in the morning, like a mixture. I use, you know, I work with Ghost, but I think they make some great greens that taste really good. Usually they taste like ass, but I get like the lime ones. They're great. But I make greens for my girlfriend and her and myself every day. You know, I'm drinking a gallon of water every day. But other than those things, you know, I make sure that I'm with my meals. I'm getting vegetables, you know, eating whole foods throughout. But I definitely do. I am not the poster child for a proper diet. Like I am absolutely never would I claim that. But no, I don't take any. I mean, the most extreme thing I take is like fish oil and a multivitamin and creatine. But other than that, it's, yeah, no, I don't do any sort of additional supplementation.
Like it. So I want to go back to what we talked about a little bit earlier. You talked about consistency. And I think a lot of people struggle with consistency. So I was just curious, do you think you're born with that? Or do you think that, you've created some tactics and some different ways? Because the interesting thing that I thought about with you is obviously you're very consistent. Otherwise, you wouldn't be where you're at. Whether it's fitness or whether it's any of these companies or where you're at with your YouTube, it wouldn't be possible without consistency. But the other interesting thing is usually with consistency comes like, schedule and like, all right, hey, I'm going to have this thing all nailed out, which sounds to me like you're more lax on. You're like, oh, I'm just going to do it as it comes up. So what are some tips that you have for people to get more consistent? Or again, do you think you're just born with it and it just is what it is? And yeah.
Are you letting deals fall through the cracks because you don't have good systems in place?
We've been there before, and honestly, we've tried several different CRMs, and RE Simply has been the absolute best.
RE Simply tracks your KPIs, does automatic follow-ups for you, and even records incoming phone calls.
The system is very easy to use, and honestly, it has more features than we even know what to do with.
If you're looking for a great CRM, try RE Simply today.
Click the link in the description below.
Check it out now.
I mean, I think when you enjoy doing something, you want to do it all the time. So I really like making content, but to this day, I am probably one of the worst procrastinators, and I've always been that. Even back in high school, college, if I had 4 weeks to write a paper, the day before is when I'm going to start that paper. And then I'll get really stressed that I only have so much time. But even to this day, like there's a lot of things with the business that I'm just like, look, when do I need to have it done? Okay, I'll get it done by that time. It may be an hour before, but I'm like, I'm going to get it done, and it's going to be the same quality as if I did it 4 days beforehand, and yeah, I also think what's great about consistency is I have kind of this fear of if I don't be consistent, everything's going to crumble down. So it's like, if I take a break from YouTube, everyone's going to forget about me. If I stop doing this one thing, the whole business is going to crumble. So I think once I start something that's working, I'm like, I don't want to let up. I just want to keep being consistent, and keep showing up. And I think probably people are maybe born with more tendencies, but I think it's something you can absolutely incorporate more of in your life. It's just about, maybe you do need scheduling at that point to be consistent and block out your day. But it's funny, if you talk to my brother, he's like the complete opposite, where he blocks out like when he eats lunch, when he goes on a walk and all that shit. And I'm just like, no, not me. Like it's like structure. I call it like structured chaos in my head. Like I just generally know, and I forget a lot of things and I screw up a lot, but it's just, I've tried. I even keep buying these like whiteboards every time I go to a new office, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to write out each day my main 3 tasks I need to get done. I do it one day, and the next day I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to sit down on my computer, and then I'll start a task, and then I'll be like, is anyone posting anything on YouTube? Oh, look at that. Let me spend like 3 minutes looking at this. Okay. All right. Let me go back to this. Actually, I'm going to start designing a wrapper over here. All right. Oh, let me like listen to some music. Oh, I'm going to go get a sandwich. Like I'm all over the place, bro. It works. It works. It's gotten me this far. Not to say it's going to continue to get me even further, but it's where we're at right now.
Max's 3 keys to success: forget, procrastinate, and stay scared.
That's it.
I want to actually ask you about that. Are you, because I was thinking, like, honestly, I'm in a kind of similar boat. Like, I'm getting more scheduled, like having to force myself, because like we're in a very similar spot where like we got like $4.6 million worth of real estate that we got to figure out how to purchase in the next 30 days. And we've already got maxed out on like private money lenders and all that stuff. We've been putting ourselves in this spot to where it's like, all right, now I'm stressed out as crap because I don't have it figured out, but we kind of like chose to be here too. If I had it all figured out beforehand, we probably wouldn't have got to where we were. But at the same time, what I found is I'm not then able to turn it off in order to still live my life. I cannot live until that thing's done. Until that problem is solved, I'm just stressed out of my mind. I'm going to figure it out because I always do. But then it takes away from my quality of life when I'm talking to, my girlfriend, or whenever I'm with my family or anything. They're like, yeah, like they're talking about freaking little things, in my opinion. And I'm like, I got to figure this out before I can even talk to you.
I mean, I think as a business owner, you'll never be able to like disconnect your brain. And it is important to be present when you're with people, but it's still almost impossible to not be like thinking about the stresses or the whatever with your business. But what I try to show on my YouTube channel, not how like dumb I can be and still be successful, but it's more of like, guys, you don't have to be this super structured person. Not everyone that starts a business that's successful is like knows exactly what they're doing. And like I'm truly figuring that out on a daily basis, and I'm making a lot of mistakes and I'm doing things I shouldn't do. But that's just, I'm showing you that the average person can do it. You don't have to be this business mogul. And I procrastinate a lot. There's a lot of things that, could I stay up later and knock it out today and just, knock it off my list? I'm like, or I think I'd rather just maybe watch another episode of The Office, and I'll do it tomorrow. I know it'll be okay if it gets done tomorrow. Like, and certain things you can do that with and certain things you can't. But I'm a big component of balance in life. And, what the decisions and relaxation that maybe I'm able to do now and procrastination I'm able to do now was definitely not what I was able to do to get me to this point. So there's definitely times where you got to put your head down and work and really, sacrifice a lot of things. But I think it's all about the ride, man. It's like, what's the point of what we're doing in life if you're going to 24/7 be focusing about business? It's like, what are you working towards? Is it towards money? You're always going to want more money. You're never going to have enough. If you say you want $1 million in your bank account, you're going to get it and be like, fuck, this isn't enough, man. I need $10 million. And you get $10 million and be like, this isn't enough. I need 20 million. It's never gonna be enough, even though you're not buying anything more at $10 million than you would if you had $1 million. But for some reason, you think you're not adequate enough and you need more and more and more. So it's sometimes good to breathe, take a step back, smell the roses, have yourself a couple margaritas. It's like, it's all right. And some sour candy, specifically sour strips.
What would you say that your why is? I think that's a good segue into that. What is your why?
Wait, before we get into that though, we got to ask about Ghost before we get into the last questions. We got to talk about Ghost real quick. That's very important for us. Otherwise, my entire team will get mad at us.
Now, I don't own Ghost, right?
Bro, we drink so many Ghosts. I'm not even joking. Like, we got so many cases, and then like we probably go through. I would literally say probably a case a day, and I'm not joking. Like, we have multiple people. We did the math equation on one guy. I think it was Luis. He's drinking like 1,200 freaking milligrams of caffeine a day, and he didn't even know it. He's taking 2 scoops of pre-work. I'm like, bro, you're gonna die. But anyway, like, how did you get hooked up with Ghost?
Well, first I want to say, if you guys are ordering all that Ghost, you better be using code Maxx, okay?
Code Maxx. All right. I was gonna ask about it.
You see my golden doodle right there? He needs to be sent to college, and code Maxx with 2 X's helps him get there.
2 X's. Okay.
Yeah.
I got linked up with Ghost. So they actually just turned 7 years old like this week. So they just had their 7-year anniversary, and I've been with them since day one. So their story is essentially the owners used to work at some other supplement companies. When they worked at these other supplement companies, they worked with some athletes such as like Christian Guzman and some other people. So then when they left to start their own supplement company, they already kind of had this network of individuals to be like on their team. And then last minute, because I'm friends with these people, they were like, hey, you should really get this Maxx guy on the squad as well. And so like last minute, I think like a month before they launched the company, we got in contact via Snapchat actually, and reached out to me and signed me. And that was the first day of an amazing partnership. And it's a company that it's been crazy to see not only the growth of them, but, I'm very close with the owners. I'm actually going to one of their weddings in like 2 months in Napa Valley. And, so that shows you like how tight I am with the owners here. And it's been a really wild ride, and they motivate me and inspire me a lot, because I think they've truly, not only changed the game in terms of what they're doing with all the brands they're working with, but they go to show you that, industries can change. And, they've for the longest time, most supplement companies were focused around the crazy big bodybuilders, this bodybuilding lifestyle you couldn't balance. And Ghost is like, what if we make a brand for the people that, don't want to be 200 pounds of rock solid muscle, who want to, go out on the weekend, have a couple drinks or something, do have pizza. And what if we just make the branding cool as fuck? Like, what if we do that? What if we make a cool brand that people want to take photos with, that looks cool in your car, that looks like the packaging is colorful and it looks cool on your counter. You don't want to put it in a cabinet. You want to keep it on the counter. Like, some people be like, that's stupid. That who cares about that? Ghost, prime example that people do care about that. And yeah, it's been a wild ride, man, and I'm super proud of those guys, and especially with the energy drink that has just been rocket shipping into success. Whereas they're essentially an energy drink company that has supplements now, rather than a supplement company who has energy drinks. So it's been cool.
Yeah, it tastes so good. So we're all about deals because obviously we're in real estate.
Right.
Can you hook us up with anything else other than the code Maxx?
I wish I could. The only secret snippet I'll give you is that so I've done a lot of collaborations with them of custom products like Maxx collabs, and this year on September 9th, which is my 34th birthday, and it will be Sour Strip's 4th birthday, I can give you a little teaser that there is a collab coming. Can't say what the collab is, but it's coming on September 9th. And you can make your own guesses as to maybe what it could be, but it's going to be something that people are going to be so excited for. It's 4 products, one of which it is an energy drink. It will be nationwide in a couple stores, and it will be everyone's new favorite. I promise you that it will be everyone's new favorite.
Better than this one, dude?
They've had better, not only better than Cherry Limeade, better than the Strabango Margarita collab that we did that sold out so fast. The energy drink which people have been screaming at me to try to get that one back because it's so good. But yeah, no, I'm super excited for it. It's going to be huge for everyone involved, and I can't wait to share it with the world.
Dude, that's exciting. That's awesome. I got to tell you a really funny story. Have you ever heard of NLP, neuro linguistic programming?
Nope.
Okay, so it's like some stuff that like Tony Robbins does, and like it's basically like, just I don't know, Tony could explain it better, but basically I went to one of these things. It's basically like they had somebody come up and they had them not like whatever they liked a lot. So this lady loved Coca-Cola. They basically had her to the point where she was like, I love it so much. They did this thing, and for like, you imagine something in your mind, you change it, do all this stuff. She ended up not liking it, not even just not liking it, to the point where she was about to vomit because of it.
Sounds
And
like
I was
bullshit.
like, yeah, I was like, this is bull crap. I was like, there's no freaking way. I was like, that's a planted person.
Yeah.
And that's bull crap. I freaking did it with one of the ghosts with, I used to drink, the, Sour Patch, the red one.
Mm-hmm.
I did it, and I haven't had one since because I associate it with that stuff, and it actually freaking worked. And now I'm kind of mad that I did it.
Don't ever do that with Sour Strips, okay? Keep eating Sour Strips.
Yeah, I
Keep eating it.
Strips, but dude, I did it with that. I literally haven't had one since. That was like a year ago. And I'm like, dude, that's some crazy stuff. But anyway,
can you order the energy drinks on the website? I'm going to ghostlifestyle.com, right?
No, you can't. So they used to, and when we launched our collab Strabango Margarita last year, and when we launched the new one, you will be able to order the energy drinks at that time. Something that people will learn is creating any business is difficult, but getting into the beverage space is a whole beast, because no company has ever found a way to really explode in the D2C drink market, right? Because it's so expensive to ship these things. I mean, these are, 16 ounces. So a 12 pack is 12 pounds. It's expensive to ship 12 pounds. The chances of them bursting in the mail are very high. And no one wants to get an energy drink, then put it in their fridge so they can enjoy it hours later. They want to pick it up as cold. So no, at the moment, I know that they go back and forth on sometimes availability, but for now, I mean, they're in like 40,000 doors, so they're in a ton of locations, and they just got into Target with some stuff, and yeah, they're expanding like crazy. So I wouldn't be surprised if the stores near you are going to have it, and a lot of the major retailers. But yeah.
Max, what is your favorite, best, or most interesting failure?
My biggest failure. I invested $60,000 into a CBD water company with a couple of other entrepreneurs. This was at the time period of the hype of CBD. We were like, oh, this is the future. People are going to really want the CBD. We're going to be the first in the CBD kind of water industry. You know, we got the branding, we got the samples, we got the full production, everything, and it just never took off. And I ended up getting a check back for $9,000. So I lost $50,000 in a, you know, a whole bunch of my time. So that was my biggest failure of something that, you know, it was just like seems like a good idea. Here's some money. Oh shit. Okay. I have none of that money anymore.
What'd you learn?
No one wants CBD water. No, I think, you know, not only that, I joke of maybe sometimes things can be too good to be true, that it's just like, hey, dude, if you invest in this, like, it's going to be a crazy return. It's going to be so much money. And in hindsight, I wish you know, obviously I didn't know if it's going to be a failure or not, but it's like, you know, I need to do things that I love to do and I'm passionate about, rather than just chucking money into things that people tell me that I should put my money into. I'm very much I don't invest into a lot of different things. I know you guys are like heavy into real estate. It's something that I might start dabbling with one of my buddies and his dad. They do kind of a similar house flip. I don't know your guys' business, but like kind of a house flip, build them and sell them kind of thing. But for me, I'm not someone who really I love making money. Trust me. I'm not going to lie to you, tell you don't love it, but I really love making money off of things that I enjoy doing, not just what are the most amount of things I can do to make money. I like to have pride in what I'm doing, have pride in the money that I'm making, feel good about the money that I'm making. And so that's important to me. Do I leave a lot of money on the table because that's the way I am? Absolutely. I could have sold my soul a long time ago on YouTube to a lot of brand deals that, you know, just wouldn't have felt right, or a lot of business opportunities that would have been fast cash that my heart wasn't in. I would just be doing it to make some quick money. And it's just not really who I am. So I think that also taught me a lesson of, you know, just because it sounds good doesn't mean it's the right opportunity for you.
I did the same thing actually with Amazon e-commerce store. So Ryan Pineda, I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's our coach for flipping and stuff, and we got into his program.
Wait, he's the guy with like the white hair. Is he the real estate guy?
Color.
Yeah, he colors it all the time. And,
yeah.
But so he's like, we're in his program, in his coaching program, and he's honestly who helped us build our business into what it is today. And then he's like, I got this e-commerce store that I just started out this business, and then he's like, it's 25,000, and yeah, I think you should get into it. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. And then it freaking failed horribly.
But I think people think that it's like, if something seems too good to be true and it seems like it's such easy money to make, it's probably too good to be true. And it's like, you know, I got to be things I'm passionate about. I use an analogy, or not analogy. I used a story one time on a podcast where I had a buddy that was like telling me that I should get into like Amazon drop shipping. And I was like, all right, like tell me more about it. And he's like, yeah, I sell, he's like, he was buying like a Lambo and shit. He's like making all this money. I'm like, what do you sell, man? He's like, these like plastic shower caddies to like put your shampoo on. Like I order them online. I figure out what products are the most popular, and then I order them on, you know, from China, and, you know, and just, I don't even touch the product. I'm like, you're passionate about like plastic shower caddies and stuff? He's like, no, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just like, I'm like, bro, how do you get excited? How are you like, I guess you take pride and look at the money that I have, but I'm like, how do you, like, I want to be able to talk about my business and sound excited about what I'm doing, not be like, yeah, dude, I sell these coat hangers on Amazon. It's sick. Like, but if you're passionate about coat hangers, or the challenge is in the business, but again, it's just different strokes for different folks, you know?
Yeah. One thing I do want to say lastly is that Ryan did at least take care of us. And then he basically like gave you all this other free stuff. It was like, you can get in this program, you can do this, you can go golfing with him, and he did that all for free. So he at least made it right anyway. But
I made out okay. I didn't join the e-commerce store because I predicted that Amazon was going to start sniping Walmart stores, and I don't know if that was happening underneath the scenes or anything. But I got lucky with some of his NFTs. I bought them when they were cheap, and I sold them when they hit the moon, and I sold them at the right time because I have another good friend who's all about NFTs. So just by having limited knowledge and trusting people, I still made money on a wave that I shouldn't have based on my limited knowledge.
No one should have made money on those fucking NFTs, man. That's like the biggest. I don't know, man. I have such interesting thoughts about all that. I never got into that whole NFT space. I never bought any of that shit.
I've made like 17K between the Gary V NFT that I bought and then the 5 Ryan Pineda's NFT.
So many people have lost their ass on the exact same
I still
things that
got
you.
I still got them all. I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna hold them, see what happens. So I'm
Just-
still
You're gonna keep holding those things, bro. I don't know if the light's at the end of the tunnel for NFTs.
one day maybe do something. If not, then I'll just keep doing real estate. That's it.
Yeah.
No, that's working, at least for now.
All right.
Yeah.
This is we're getting close to the end. You think I should ask them the last question? Final question here. This is a big one. This is it can be emotional for some people. So you're at the end of your life.
77 years from now.
Yep, at the very end of your life. Well, I was gonna say 67. You made it to 100. You're not
Nice.
100. You made it to 100. You're on your deathbed. You have a final message to the world. It's specifically Maxx's message. It's something that you feel that the world needs to hear. It could be on a billboard in Times Square. It could be a paragraph, a mantra, a sentence, something that people will look at and be like, that was Maxx's message. And it is your final message to the world. It's something you think the world needs to hear.
You know, I want to get cliche with it and just have like a phrase of kind of like, never think you're not enough. Never think that you can't do amazing things. And it's like, you know, my entire life, I have been always in the mindset of thinking that I see the other people around me having great success in a lot of things. And I'm like, that can't happen to me. That can't happen to me. There's no way I can be successful like that. There's no way I'll ever live that type of life. And I had this negative mindset. And I think once I shifted and realized that you don't, all the cards don't have to be on the table in the right format for you to succeed and do amazing things in your life. And comparison is the thief of joy. And if you continue to surround yourself with so many people who are who you think are doing better than you and you'll never equate to them, it's going to strip you of all your happiness. So, you know, my final message would just be, do what it sounds lame when I do this, but I feel like my actual last deathbed, I'd be like, go drink more margaritas. You know, maybe some shit like that. Like I can see myself at 100 still saying dumb shit, but no, man, it's never stop believing in yourself and never give up. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but I'm not a big motivational speaker type of guy, and it's truly what I think. And you know, people look at me, and people, you know, for the longest time, kind of had their you know, negative connotation towards me in the fitness space. So look how small this guy is. He doesn't even look like he lifts. Why is he making YouTube videos? And I was like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I'm gonna still keep doing this, and I'm gonna still keep doing my damn thing. And you know, look at where those probably people are now, and look at where I'm at, because I kept sticking to it and believing in what I wanted to do. And you know, I think you can do amazing things if you put your mind to it and you just work and you just commit, and you know, realize that money is not everything. It is a great tool for freedom and to buy your time back, but just always remember that there's more to life than just how big your bank account's getting.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely, guys.
I love your mindset, dude. You got a good mindset.
I try to keep it casual, dude. I try to keep it easy peasy, you know?
Yeah.
How can our listeners get a hold of you? They want to reach out, or they want more information about you, or they want to buy sour strips. What do you want to plug?
I would love to just, you know, if you want to check me out, I plug my YouTube channel, man. You know, my name's probably in the show notes or the title or something. Come check out my YouTube. If you want some entertainment, you want some behind the scenes of, you know, growing a business from a guy who's just figuring out day by day. And if you get some sort of value out of that, and you decide you want to maybe support or anything, you know, you'll be able to find the businesses and the things that I work with. But I just want to entertain people. I just want to, you know, provide that kind of escapism for people. And hopefully that my YouTube is that for many individuals.
Awesome. Any final thoughts you want to share with our viewers?
That's it, man. You know, ever forward and eat more sour strips.
Love it, man. Thanks again for coming on. And yeah, we appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Cool. Peace.